This is Diana Weiner, Horticulture Coordinator for Sullivan Renaissance. We're going to learn some lessons from America in Bloom communities. America in Bloom was founded in 2001, and it's modeled after a proven successful program in Canada and around the world, offering national awards programs for cities, towns, and townships, colleges, and university campuses, business districts, military installations, and identified sections of large cities. The program provides a framework for improving the overall quality of life for participants. America in Bloom is a community building program that engages people of all ages and demographics. It is the only program of its kind that provides on-site, one-on-one mentoring and coaching by a team of expert judges who provide a detailed written evaluation. Since the founding, more than 230 cities in 45 states have participated in America in Bloom. America in Bloom promotes nationwide beautification through education and community involvement by encouraging the use of flowers, plants, trees, and other environment and lifestyle enhancements. When the judges come to your town, this is what they're looking for. They're going to, first of all, look at the municipality, the businesses, the residences, and see what community involvement there is in each of the areas that they'll be judging. So when we go to the municipality and speak with them, hopefully we will have a representative from there, and they will show us the city hall and other properties in the municipality. This can be everything from empty lots and brownfields to churches, colleges, and hospitals. In the business sector, we're going to look at stores, shopping centers, even a garden center. Residential areas, condos, townhouses, trailer parks, even graduated care facilities. And as far as community involvement, this would be in all areas of the community. And we're looking at clubs, youth groups, social clubs, church groups, etc. Our score sheet pretty much looks like this. We are looking at 6 different criteria: floral displays, landscape areas, urban forestry, environmental efforts, heritage preservation, and overall impression of everything that we've seen. And there's a point structure that adds up to 1,000 points, with points for each of those criteria. And at the end of the day, there is a Bloom rating from 1 to 5 being the best. The first criteria we'll look at is floral displays. And here, of course, it's going to be baskets, window boxes, containers. We're looking at what plants are going inside of there. Do you have a mixture of annuals, perennials, ornamental grasses that provide year-round interest? There are many places across the United States where you can find some very interesting floral displays. These formal floral quilt gardens are attracting many tourists who delight in seeing old-time quilt patterns created in flowering annuals in Shipshewana, Indiana. The average visitor to a quilt tour stays 2.5 nights, and Shipshewana has 5,000 people in its town. In a town of Bexley, Ohio, here is Drexel Circle, which again has huge, massive displays of flowers in this rotary. And at 10 to 15,000 people in Bexley, this centrally located intersection in the busiest part of the city supports the largest floral display that's breathtaking each year. In spring, over 14,000 daffodils bloom, and from May until frost, it's filled with all of these colorful annuals. And there's a close-up. And in downtown Bexley, they took an ugly side of the building and entrance to a parking area and filled it with flowers and some beautiful signs, really fixing up a horrible place, visual place. And here on the street corner, even though there's construction ahead, you can see that they have attractive street lights and they have banners. So hanging baskets are always a great thing to brighten the landscape. And here we have double baskets. And in Coshocton, for their bicentennial celebration in this town in Ohio, the theme in 2011 was Red, White, and Bloom. Organizations and businesses were challenged with creating bright new red, white, and blue bicentennial gardens. The Rotary Club sponsors a master gardener who arranges for trustees, people who are required to do community service, to plant and maintain flower pots and beds on Main Street, the Courthouse Square, and City Hall. The Rotary also provides money for plants and containers on Main Street. The America in Bloom Committee organized a citywide daffodil sharing event. Those who had daffodils were asked to dig some up and replant them in parks and then share the rest during Daffodil Days, D-A-Z-E. The population of Coshocton is 10,000 to 15,000. In Lewes, Delaware, they have beautiful hanging baskets. And they have window boxes on the bridges and more window boxes everywhere you look. In Mccall, Idaho, they had some interesting boxes with a mix of perennials and annuals that were quite attractive. And in St. Louis, Missouri, a larger display with big hanging baskets in the downtown and window boxes on huge buildings. In Plymouth, Indiana, there were floral surprises at many businesses. At this diner on the main drag, the variegated euonymus shrubs planted in the ground are climbing up the building, and the petunia hanging baskets are extremely huge and happy. In Washington, Missouri, there's a nice sitting area along the main street and a place where they have a statue and two beautiful big pots. Again, in St. Louis, Missouri, as you walk all through town, you'll find huge containers with massively big plant material that really makes a statement. So a good rule of thumb when you're planting a container is to make sure that the container is 1/3 the size of the entire planting. So that would include your plant material being 2/3 of the arrangement and the container being 1/3. Businesses in Northeast Pennsylvania had a competition. Owners were asked to plant pots of flowers for the summer. A team of master gardeners then went out around town once a month and awarded a sign to the best kept flowers at that business. The idea of rewarding people can be found throughout the United States. Weekly or monthly, everyone likes to be appreciated and recognized when they do their part to keep their town looking good. Hold an annual competition for the best shade garden, sun garden, container garden that is recognized with a certificate and a mention in the local newspaper to start a friendly competition between neighbors. In Arroyo Grande, California, the signage is very important to let people know who is doing that beautification work. Many residents thought it was the DPW. A lightweight, easy-to-move sign now follows volunteers' efforts around town. And then sometimes the efforts go from sublime to outrageous. In Risingsun, Indiana, an upside-down tree got the judge's attention, and then we found a pot man resting in a garden at an intersection in a quiet neighborhood. The second criteria that is judged is landscaped areas. We're looking at the overall design and suitability in the landscape. We're looking at good design principles. We're seeing how people integrate hardscape, lighting, the maintenance of the area, their efforts in planning, and other types of gardens like Healy gardens, community gardens, and public gardens and zoos. In Lewes, Delaware, their landscaped median is a beautiful thing to see. In early spring, it's planted with bulbs, and then in the summer, this median breaks up this long area that was just grass, and it can hide unsightly views as well. What a great welcome. Long views that provide an interesting destination are important in the public landscape. This fountain in a park in Bexley, Ohio, is a good example. Risingsun Indiana, hailed as the most promising young city along the Ohio River as late as the 1880s, settled into sleepy existence, never quite blooming, never quite declining. Among the businesses that stayed there were the enterprises of the Whitlock family, which built fine furniture and operated a lumberyard, among other endeavors. Not only did J.W. Rowe Whitlock invent the first coin-operated music player and game machine, and built forerunners to several modern marvels, he built and raced the Hoosier Boy series of hydroplanes. The boat and Whitlock inventions are on display in the Ohio County Historical Museum. Simple landscapes in public areas are sometimes the most tranquil and beautiful. In this courtyard in Mccall, just a few plants to accent the statues and a mix of mulches to define the area keep this planting easy to maintain for volunteers. A repetition of plants in Lewes, Delaware makes this landscape design simple, elegant, easy to maintain. Again, no lawn at this residential landscape. They've filled it with perennials, trees, and shrubs. And that display was so nice that other residents started repeating the same design, using different annuals, different shrubs, but the same effect. In Northeast Pennsylvania, they had some easy and effective ways to design a simple, low-maintenance landscape using only 6 different types of plants, a sign, a bench, and 2 sections of low fencing. Bermed islands are an oasis in Washington, Missouri. This pocket park has a linden tree for shade and a roofed gazebo for shelter. What was a devil strip, which was a devil to maintain, is now a beautiful garden filled with native plants that required little water once established and attract butterflies and other pollinators in Washington, Missouri. Back in Bexley, Ohio, where flowers and vegetables abound in this community garden. Many families from all different ethnic backgrounds grow and weed here together, sharing their harvests and recipes at a weekly potluck supper. Coshocton, Ohio is also taking unused land that is easy to walk to from nearby low-income housing. A nominal fee is charged to keep this 15-foot by 15-foot plot. And here's a great idea for what to do next in a community garden or any public space. Here is a weatherproof area where you can have a design of the garden, what's planted, and notes for the next person who's coming to maintain it. Raised beds are easier to maintain in Mccall, Idaho. This large grassy area across from the farmer's market lot was an eyesore until an Eagle Scout took on a project to erect these raised beds. A mix of shrubs, perennials, and annuals brighten this corner of Racine, Wisconsin. In Bexley, Ohio, a devil of a strip to maintain in front of this school building is a mix of boulders and large and attractive perennial plants. In Mccall, Idaho, this residence just uses 3 different types of plants in the landscape to make a beautiful statement. A lead construction project that incorporated housing, shops, and offices in Mccall, Idaho was really quite attractive, using native plants and rain gardens. The Village Green in Coshocton, Ohio, is supported by the Rotary, who plants flowers and maintains it throughout the seasons. This Village Green in Coshocton is also a Rotary gazebo and maintained by that organization. In Bexley, Ohio, they have attractive road signs. Here's a great idea to step up your road signs in residential areas in your town. A private home in Bexley, Ohio had this beautiful labyrinth. And if you don't want to grow shrubs that tall, if they're taller, they're mazes. If you can see over them, they're labyrinths. And this walking labyrinth is a meditation labyrinth in Lewes, Delaware, at a church. Edging and mulch define this private garden beautifully in Bexley. And here's another private garden in Northeast Pennsylvania. And yet another private garden in Northeast Pennsylvania. The third criteria of the 6 is urban forestry. And here we're looking at street trees, new plantings, database, qualified personnel or trained individuals or volunteers who take care of the trees a scheduled succession of plantings for the trees. We're looking at planting maintenance improvement and written policies, bylaws, and regulations to make sure that the trees remain. In Northeast Pennsylvania and in Washington, Missouri, they have trees planted in the downtown streets. On the right-hand side, a little bit too much mulch, friends. You would want to spread that out. Mulch should only be 2 to 3 inches deep around the tree. Gator bags are used in Lewes, Delaware on newly planted trees. You can have gator bags that zip up the side, or if it's a low branching tree, you may want to go to one of these gator bags, which holds water and with micro holes allows water to drip out slowly but surely. You just need to fill those bags every 2 to 3 days. And in Washington, Missouri, they have a native fruit and nut orchard, and this is maintained by the local garden center volunteers. Coshocton, Ohio has completed a tree inventory to see where trees are planted and siting where they are needed. They have a 5-year plan. Greendale, Wisconsin was settled in 1939 as a public cooperative community in the New Deal era. Construction of the new town created jobs and stimulated the national economic recovery following the Great Depression. In 1950, the Public Housing Administration gave Greendale residents the right to purchase homes they had been renting from the government. This is one of 5 planned communities in the United States, and really a beautiful place to visit. In Bexley, Ohio, they are a Tree City, USA. This town has a mature canopy and an active tree commission. In fact, Bexley is the first city in the world to be designated an arboretum. They have developed a tree walk featuring some of the many tree species in town and adding more species to the tree walk and a specimen map, and hope to have all of the arboretum species marked and mapped by the end of 2015. Notice the beautiful wide tree lawns as well. Tree walks are another way to introduce young and old to trees in their environments. This walk is located in the county fairgrounds in Washington, Missouri. This hawthorn is the oldest tree in Greendale, Wisconsin. Tree markers are important to introduce people to different types of trees and to educate them. There are many different types to choose from. Make sure that you choose one that will last. Some examples. Environmental efforts are another criteria that the judges look for when they come to your town in America in Bloom. We're looking at recycling, waste reduction, water quality, energy conservation, rain gardens, rain barrels, and events such as Earth Day, Bike to Work Day, etc. Here is a LEED municipal building and rain gardens all around it. And again, you can have beautiful places that are preserved. This Eagle Scout and members of the community built this deck overlooking the water. You can dedicate areas such as the one that we just saw in Bexley, Ohio. The Recreation and Parks Department thanked the Eagle Scout for his improvement with this long-lasting sign. The Kinnickinnick River is another place that's being preserved, and there's rain gardens throughout town. Here's an interesting way to keep geese out of a pond. Just take some fishing line and extend it over about 3 feet over the top of and across the pond, and they can't fly in, so they won't. We want to see if you are alerting people to the fact that they should not be dumping any kind of chemicals down the drain, and we'll be looking for signs like this. Planting huge masses of wildflowers, particularly near riparian areas, is a good way to get people out to walk in nature, to enjoy huge masses of flowers that change throughout the seasons. Here's a close-up. And then in the recycling area, this was an interesting area that had solar compactors, and they had labeled everything that you could recycle. And here you can see used oil filters, lead acid batteries, antifreeze, everything was separated by the consumer that came to drop off their recyclables. And even local stores using local produce and collecting the frying oil from restaurants to use as an alternative fuel in their vehicles. How about a trade and swap? Things that you have that you're not using can go to the recycling center and set up as a store. Bring something in, take something out. You can perhaps sell compost bins at the swap shop and sell the rain barrels as well. So we mentioned rain gardens a couple of times. Many towns across the United States not only have them in the municipal areas, but in every church and school as well. The old-fashioned retention pond is a thing of the future as we move to the future. Another rain garden with native grasses, and an area with a rain garden at a bump out in town. In Mccall, Idaho, you can see this pervious paving block that's used in a restaurant area right on their lake. And in Greendale, Wisconsin, a home with all plants, no lawn. So there are a lot of areas where solar can be used, rain gardens can be used, and encourage your municipality to be looking into this as they renovate different buildings in town. Turbines offer alternative energy. The next criteria is heritage preservation, where we're looking at historical, natural, agricultural, and cultural heritage of the town. Preservation and restoration of buildings. We're looking at heritage parks, gardens, and trees, artifacts, what resources you have for the community to learn more about their heritage, and do you have interesting farmers markets, festivals, and parades. And here in Bexley, Ohio, lots of retro buildings, lots of renovation of old buildings. This is happening throughout the United States, Washington, Missouri. Here's an old post office where they found some hidden halls. In Northeast Pennsylvania, saving the buildings in the downtown and celebrating their grape past. Throughout the United States, towns and villages preserve their past, taking a space to carve out a museum to show people where they've been. Bexley, Ohio. Signs, historic signs around town are a good way for on walking tours, or just to have individuals learn about where they are and get an idea and feel for the people around them. The Underground Railroad in Coshocton, Ohio. Here's their historical marker. The Downtown Washington Historic District on this interpretive sign in Washington, Missouri. And the Historical and Cultural Affairs Center in Lewes, Delaware. Historical garden with an herb garden. And walking tours of Lewes are available, particularly when they're architectural walking tours. People really enjoy them. Historic Roscoe Village, another place to visit. Lots of interesting buildings and stores. A bit of the past in Coshocton, Ohio, with a beautiful garden. Train museums, any museum people will love to come and see. Parades with a parade route. This time they've painted stars in Bexley, Ohio, and you could follow the parade route after the parade. And last but not least, overall impression. What does your town look like when a new person comes in? Is it maintained? Are there weeds? Do you have policies for dog waste? Are they maintaining the lampposts, the playgrounds? Is there sculpture? Are there signs, banners? Can people easily get around town? So, are you keeping the streets clean? A simple street sweeper is the way to go. Are you planting flowers, particularly at City Hall? Are you welcoming people to your town? Is it clean and neat and painted and bright and cheerful? Do you have places and outdoor spaces for people to gather? Here's a very interesting built-in amphitheater. The sides of buildings can be quite ugly, but if you want to make a public space between two buildings where there was a brown field, here's a great idea. Again, those buildings can be quite ugly, but murals can provide some interesting pieces of history or some beautiful art. Here's a great sundial and a university in Delaware. Places that you want to disguise would be service areas like this. And then other alleys you may want to disguise could be painted like this one in Northeast Pennsylvania. Nice looking trash receptacles, lights, this all add to the overall impression of your town. Wayfinding signs are an important way to get people from point A to point B, most importantly to shop and stay, hopefully move there. Downtown gathering places and information about towns in the town square is really important. What is there to do? What events are going on? And empty storefronts can be displays for other things that are going on in town. Work with your landlords, and when they have an empty space, don't leave it looking empty. The back of a store can be just as important as the front. Here's the entrance to a coffee shop from the parking lot, which was quite ugly until they made it a seating area. And how about tips for teams or tips for anything in a coffee shop or anywhere where people may be leaving just a few cents every day? It can really add up. So look at your outdoor spaces. Make them beautiful. Make them walkable. Make people want to come back. And once they stay there, they can actually go to public spaces and exercise. In Greendale, Wisconsin, here's an outdoor exercise area. In St. Louis, very walkable downtown. Kids have a great time at the waterfall and stepping stones. Water features can be found in every major city now in the United States. Outdoor sitting areas are great. I think this one just needs some big containers and flowers. Downtown Street in Greendale, Wisconsin, flags, hanging baskets, beautiful lights, and lawn. In Mccall, Idaho, local welder did some beautiful banners and signs that will last for a very long time. How about dedicating some of those lights? Here's an interesting sign. Here in Sullivan County, we have barn quilts, and you can find these barn quilts throughout the United States. It's a great way to get people to come and see your town and to go on a tour. Have one place where all the tours, where all the quilts can be displayed, and then a brochure, and send them out. Maybe you just want to have a map of all the different counties in your state, or just funny signs to keep people laughing. So, relax, enjoy where you go, look around the country, talk with your friends and dream about the beautiful towns that you can visit, that you can live in, that you can improve. See no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Only do good things. And when you do things that are good, you will get appreciated. And the best way to get more volunteers to help you is to appreciate them. Give them certificates. Say thank you all the time. So judges will come to your town for America in Bloom, and they want to be able to come in and out within 2 days. So it's good to have an itinerary and a map. It's good to meet as many people as possible, including volunteers, and make sure that there's a cross-section of the town and a representation of everything that we needed to see in all 6 criteria. It's good to meet with the media and get people to know about all of the efforts that have been done by the America in Bloom Committee. The judges will be asked to give a presentation. It's good to have a large amount of people there to hear what they have to say. The evaluation form is 25 pages long and covers all of the criteria. At the end of the day, you will get this 25-page evaluation, and it will really start you on a road to making great improvements in the future. So it's all about volunteers. It's all about our communities. It's all about being a beautiful place to live and stay. It's all about volunteers. It's all about working hard. It's all about planting pride in our communities. If you'd like some more ideas, there is a book published called Best Ideas from America in Bloom Communities. You can go onto their website, americainbloom.org, and order it. In Sullivan County, we're doing many of these things. We just have not had an America in Bloom city yet. So I hope you will consider being one. We're there. We just need to apply. Look at what we're doing throughout the county, Roscoe, Narrowsburg. So raise funds. There is a registration fee for this, and there are many ways that you can do it. Put your thinking cap on. Thank you. Have a great day.